California is the third studio album by American experimental rock band Mr. Bungle. It's released on July 13, 1999 through Warner Brothers. It incorporates a wide variety of musical styles, including Hawaiian music, Eastern music, electro-funk, doo-wop, folk, pop, surf rock, circus music, psychobilly, thrash metal, lounge music, exotica, space age pop, jazz rock, avant-garde music. I read that wrong. Piano ballads, influenced by science fiction, spaghetti western, and horror film scores. Guitarist Trey Sparks, who had recently covered the Beach Boys' Good Vibrations, said that Brian Wilson's work on Smile was definitely an influence, especially when it comes to the Faustian scale of it all. Songwriting process California was much less collaborative than previous efforts. They wrote separately and tried to keep it frugally. This is before the days of Pro Tools, so they would have ADAT machines that you could record to tape, but you'd have a maximum of 24 tracks. And with these brand new ADAT machines that came out, you could daisy chain multiple ADAT machines together. So you could have 24 tracks times 2, 48 tracks, add a third one, have 72 tracks. And they said that Pro Tools would have made life a lot easier because it was kind of fangly technology. To support the album, Mr. Bungle embarked on a large-scale tour covering North America, Europe, and Australia. They felt like the grandpas on the tour. They were getting old. They used to go on stage dressed as the village people and act super gay, which really pissed off the metal kids, said Trevor Dunn, the bass player. And they had a run-in with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. What's his name? Anthony Keidis didn't like them very much. And he got them kicked off a bunch of bills and off huge tours. They lost a ton of money. And they talked about how it was taking food off the table and it actually really financially hurt the guys. And they ended up breaking up after this. And there's a lot of stuff here. Anthony Keidis says, yeah, I did it and fuck them. I don't care. And yada, yada, yada. What did you think of it, Brad? Did you love this the first time you ever heard this album?
It's the first time I've ever heard Mr. Bungle. And look, I think Anthony Keidis did the world a service by forcing them to break up.
I hope you die and go to hell, Brad.
I had heard rumors of this album back in the day when it came out. Never, just didn't interest me at the time. I'm open to experimentation as much as the next guy, but listening to this album was like they took all the bits of songs that they put in albums, like Pearl Jam does it, like the nonsense songs in between, the filler songs, the experimental tracks off Pearl Jam's albums, off Stone Temple Pilots especially. I kind of felt the same sort of vibe off some of their interludes is the word I'm looking for, and then shoved it all together on an album and went, that's it. And that's how I felt. Like, what I enjoyed about it was the production. I thought most albums from the late 90s sound amazing. Great drums, great bass. And it was the same with this album. Like, it was unlistenable crap, but it was well recorded, which I appreciated.
So when I suggested this one, I said to you, you got to listen to it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
How many times did you listen to it?
I would have tried on about 5 separate occasions to get all the way through every song on the album. And I think I pulled it off in the end. Yeah, I take this very seriously. I need to listen to the album from start to finish, but I did not do this in one sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And because I couldn't connect with any of it. It just didn't my brain didn't compute the style, just like it's not like I'm a simple musical man. I like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus out. you know? Whereas this was like, I've got 7 seconds of this sound, and then I've got 24 seconds of this sound. Then it's kind of a song, and then it's going off on another tangent. And there's my dog again. I couldn't get into the flow of it. I can't, like even some songs. Let me bring up the track listing while my dog's barking. Is he going to stop now? You can cut this out later. I think it's track 7, Golem 2. I was like, this is kind of funky, kind of a Beck vibe. I was kind of digging it for a while. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, it's lost me. I'm off on, it's gone off somewhere else. Or that groove just lasted too long, and I was like, I'm over it. But like Sweet Charity, the opener, as we tend to say in these, like does the opening track set the tone for the whole album? Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of does, and this it has that. It's more mellow than I was expecting. The opening song. Now it's like, okay, it's Mr. Bungle, and it's old Faith No More guy, known for screaming and then singing real nicely, but he's kind of just singing real nice through most of this. It's crooning, and it's
very representative of the whole album. I think it's a slower song. It's like dipping your foot in the water a little. The song, like it's showing that it's going to be diverse. The songs are going to change a lot, but it's an easier song to get into. It's a bit more, it's probably one of the more melodic and catchy ones to warm you up. And then it's like, then they launch into None of Them Knew They Were Robots. And then it's just wacky, like taken to another level.
Yeah.
That's the warm up introduction song.
Yeah. I didn't find there was and as you say, how many times did you listen to it? And I guess I could see on repeated listenings, when you understood the style and what was coming next, that it could be more listenable. But I like to enjoy, and I guess it needs more of a constant tone for it to sit right with me, whereas this was tonally, even within a song, all over the place, And so I get it as, like I said, this felt like to me a bunch of novelty songs put together to make an album. So I'd call this a novelty album. It's not one I'd put on regularly and go, oh, fuck, I can't wait to listen to Pink Cigarette. Like.
That's one of the easier songs to get into, isn't it? Pink Cigarette.
You've spent more time with this record than me. And how often do you sit there and go, oh, I'd really like to listen to Goodbye Sober Day? Or do you just go, I'd like to listen to that album? Or did you just enjoy it at the time and you haven't listened to it since, and that's why you picked it?
I delve back into this fairly regularly. So it's going to explain. I think you got to explain the concept of this album to people, because
that means
when I was in high school. Yeah. Well, I know this is a difficult one, and I knew you would struggle with it. So, like when I was in high school, someone gave me a dub of the first Mr. Bungle, first major label Mr. Bungle album, Mr. Bungle. And that's much more of a straightforward metal album with circus organs and a lot of the craziness you hear, but it's more of a straightforward metal rock album with really weird lyrics and stuff. And loved that album. Didn't so much like the next album, Disco Volante. This album came out. I heard a music review that this album's coming out on TV, and the reviewer said, the first time I listened to this, I thought it was absolute junk, but you give it a few listens, and then this is the most amazing thing you ever hear. Mm-hmm. And I had got my first real job. And I was starting to make money, but I was paying parents back. I bought a car and I was pretty much giving everything I made back to them. And I bought this album when $30 was like, it was kind of a big expenditure for me at the time. You know, like everything was going to mum and dad, and I just $30 just for me. And I bought this album and I put it on and I was so excited. And I remember about 30 minutes into it, my stomach sinking to the floor. Like, I've just bought a piece of crap. Like, oh God, this is awful. But it was so much money to me at the time. I was like, I'm going to stick this one out. And it became my favorite album. It was in the car with me. I listened to it on loop. It was all I listened to once you get into it. Like, once you get, like, each song is densely layered and it switches from genre every 10 seconds, like you say, and just goes nuts all over the place, a lot of these songs. And the first time you hear it, it's going so fast. It's so hard to keep up with. But when you get into it, I don't know. It's just like an album like it's like I haven't heard anything like this done anywhere else. People try. There's a lot of people that are influenced by Bungle, try and do this. Doesn't work. And this is the one where Mr. Bungle, I think this is their crowning achievement. This is when it all came right for me as well. Like, it's their best album. I think every track's incredible, but it's hard to get into. I know.
If you were going on a road trip with somebody for 4 hours and they're a friend of yours, would you chuck this record on the drive?
I mean,
they'd never heard it.
Like, I understand it's a difficult record. Yeah, and it's kind of like if we go on road trips, we listen to fairly comedy kind of music. We both kind of agree on, don't we? A lot of 80s stuff when we sing songs, lyrics as we remember them. It's a little game we play. But yeah, this is kind of album you warn people about, and you say maybe you play them Retro Vertigo, like that's the acoustic song. You go, this is like your entry drug song. If you can get through this one, you got to give. It's more like an album you have to explain and say, give it a chance. Give it a chance. You know.
Yeah, like I felt again. You know, you threw it at me, and you know, you knew you were throwing me a curveball, and I knew this was going to be a curveball, and so like what I'd known of Mr. Bungle, I confused it with another Mike Patton album. Remember years ago you played it to me, and it was just a fucking surgery. Do you remember who was that? And it was like an album's worth of.
Oh, that was Phantomus.
That's it. So that's what I'd confused it with. So I was like, okay, this is going to be some avant-garde fucking weird noise fest, right? And I get it was, but not the one I was expecting. But when I chucked it on, you know, I bring it up on Spotify, and you know, I'm either going for my walk, I'm doing the lawns or whatever, and Sweet Charity came on. I thought, well, this isn't what I expected. And to be honest, I was kind of bored 3 minutes into Sweet Charity. I was like, oh fuck, you know, is this going to be the whole album? And then, you know, as you get into the other songs, that's when, you know, it started getting a bit wacky, and I was like, oh, fuck, you know, what am I listening to here? You know, like I couldn't focus on anything. And so my brain gave up and went, just listen to the drums. What do the fucking drums sound like? And I was like, oh, that's a wicked 90s drum sound, you know. And then that's how I was listening to it, by the tones and not by the overall thing, I think, because I couldn't keep up with the pace of it all, I guess, you know.
Yeah, like I said, to me, like starting off, maybe the gateway drugs, Retro Vertigo and Pink Cigarette. But God, every song on here is a winner for me. Vanity Fair, it slows down a little at the end, which is, I think, great. And then it picks up. And Goodbye So Sober Day is like a great closer for me. It's got the biggest metal riff in the world. I just like, what's so interesting, like there's this big chunky metal riff, and I watched an interview with Mike Patton saying that he thought the vocals being center and high in the mix is bullshit. And he said he treats his voice as another instrument. And on this big metal riff, he's doing tickety tick 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 chaka 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 along with the guitars. And to me, it's just magical. It's just incredible. It's so different and it fits. And he's going wopa wopa, and he's really using himself like a sampling machine. And I know it's crazy, and it's like it's not what you hear normally, but to me, it's just so fresh and interesting. And every time I listen to it, I just think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I love the rockabilly guitars.
Oh, yeah. Look, everything's done. Everything's recorded lovely, and it all sounds great. But yes, just the fucking batshit craziness of it all, didn't feel right. Yeah. For you, I mean, like Mike Patton's one of your, the guys on the high altar of all his projects. Where does this rate for you?
I rate it as I actually for a long time I thought this was the best album ever made.
Wow.
I don't know really what beats it. Like it's just so special and unique, even though I know, like I say, first time I listened to it, I went, what is this crap?
You had to get your $30 worth.
Had to get my $30 worth.
Greatest album ever. You didn't preface that when you offered me the album, did you?
No, I mean, this is up there. For me, it was Angel Dust, Faith No More was the greatest album ever. And then this one, I went, God, is this better than Angel Dust? I didn't think this would happen.
What's on Angel Dust? I don't know the album well.
Crisis was the big hit. They did that Easy cover song. With
okay. Yeah.
But it's funny to look at the Spotify and look how many listens things get. And Easy gets like over 100 million something things.
Mm-hmm.
All the other songs, not many.
Yeah.
Certainly not 100 million. It became known for that one song. But to me, it's another album where it's, I think, we talked about Tool and having epic songs. Like Tool's got 4 epic songs, I think I said. I don't know if this has epic songs, but to me, every song is all it needs to be and great and perfect. Like a foot doesn't go wrong with this album. There's not a second I would take out.
Wow, this is an insight deep into your psyche.
Yeah. I would not have picked perfection. It's like doesn't have to be the grandest thing in the world. It just has to be. I can't find anything wrong with it. So have you heard that story about there was a Japanese emperor who wanted to find the greatest artist in the land. People came in, did all sorts of amazing drawings and paintings and things. The last guy that comes in goes and draws a perfect circle, and they're like, oh, I can't fault it. Perfect. It's just a circle, black on a white sheet of paper, and I can't find the fault in it.
Right. So I thought if you were going to compare that story to this album and the way I listened to it, you said, the emperor says, hey, everybody comes in and they do the art, and then this guy comes in and draws a perfect circle. A better analogy for this album would be some street bum comes in and poops in the middle of the room and then leaves.
Was it the perfect poop?
No, it's not. It's not. But it's so left field that the emperor's like, "Fuck yeah, that's it," Because on first impression, he's like, this guy shit on my carpet," and then the more he looks at it, and smells it, and takes it in, it becomes the perfect piece of art.
Well, what if the emperor's got chronic depression, and the court jester can't make him laugh? And the emperor's like, I've got to hang myself. Life is terrible. And a bum comes in, shits in the corner, and it makes him giggle. And all of a sudden,
That's right.
and then he goes, execute him. And then he thinks, hang on, let him go. That was fucking fantastic. I was laughing.
That piece of shit gave me back my will to live. Yeah.
Yeah. No. But I think this is just like these guys know what they're doing. Like they're all jazz nerds, as they call themselves. Like they're all incredible drummers, bass players, guitar works impeccable. Songs are highly imaginative. It's just a lot to take in all at once.
Yeah, like when, thinking about it now and having talked about it a bit, I think if this, I'm looking at the track listing and the times, all the songs are still, your classic radio 3-4 minute songs, right? But there's an album's worth of style almost in every song, or at least, in the majority of them, there's all this, so much going on, as you say. So for this to be more successful for me, I'd need it to be more like a live Grateful Dead song where, none of them are robots. Instead of being 6 minutes long, is 15 minutes long, and all the bits and changes are done over time. I think I'd enjoy it more there. Does that make sense? It's kind of hard to, like there's so much packed in each song. If the song was more epic in length and the ideas within the song were extended, I think I'd enjoy it more. But again, like I said, 3 sporadic listens through, I'm definitely not putting this down as a classic album. I wouldn't even put it in my top 100, but it's an art piece. I'll give it that.
And in the world of what I at the time when it came out, I think Pearl Jam and Nirvana and stuff had all sort of been out for a while.
Yeah, gone.
And we were getting the derivative bands like Fuel and stuff like that. And this album came out, it was just so fresh and so different. I had no interest in listening to those okay bands. They were all over the radio. And I just found this just it's just a masterwork. Just a masterwork.
So Rolling Stone in 1999, you remember that magazine, Rolling Stone? In Germany, this was ranked album number 15 for the year in 1999. It surprises me.
Oops, you've gone diddly.
I'm still here.
Yeah, it's rated very highly. There's people that knock it, but it is.
Oh, like,
circles,
NME gave it 6 out of 10, Pitchfork 7.3 out of 10, Spin 7 out of 10, All Music 4 out of 5, Alternative Press 4 out of 5.
Yeah,
honestly, if I'd been a Rolling Stone reviewer or a music reviewer back in the day, and you're saying, if you were a reviewer and you listened to this on your first, you're allowed to listen to it once and you had to post a review, your review would have been one of regret, and I've wasted my $30 for the week.
Yeah, but isn't that a problem with reviews, in that you're given it, you have a limited time to put your thoughts together and a limited time to sit with it and let it grow on you. There's a lot of albums that you have to listen to a few times to let it grow on you. And to me, it's such a waste that in today, with access to billion songs, and if it doesn't instantly satisfy whatever it is to begin with, then you pass it up and move on to the next one. And this is an album, it takes time and a bit of effort. Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Daniel,
but
albums are dead.
Worth it.
Albums are dead. Albums were assassinated many, many years ago.
Yeah. And this is an album, like when you say go back and listen to one song, it is an album where you put it on from beginning to end. and it's one whole work.
And you get to the end of it and you're like, I didn't understand any of it.
Yeah. In the end, it's
1999, man. If I had to pick albums from 99, it'd be the guys that hated this band, the Chili Peppers, Californication, like in Epic 99. Neon Ballroom by Silverchair, Epic 99. I don't know what else came out in 99. That's what I got.
Silverchair.
Hey, we've got next week's episode, bitch.
Oh, no.
You are in for some emotional 19-year-old blonde Australian music.
I've got an eating disorder and I'm a boy.
Yeah.
God.
He opened it up to the world.
That did not appeal to me. No. It's a challenging album. I say it is worth the effort if you've got the balls. You've got the balls to get in there and delve and immerse yourself. If you're a music fan, you've got a large musical palette. Like I like a broad range of music, and to me, this is everything.
What a music!
It's like being in a candy store.
If you're talking about you need balls, if you need balls to listen to this album, I am the mega eunuch.
Bold and original.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, so are a lot of other albums. It doesn't make them good just because it was like, these guys are great musicians and it's recorded well. It doesn't make it a good album.
No, but it's got amazing, incredible songs, incredible songwriting.
Does it though?
Amazing production.
Does it
performance. Though? It's incredible. I say
I disagree.
Get in there with it. Mainstream.
Right. We're allowed. Absolutely. This is nice. Do some heroin, sit in the dumpster, and listen to Mr. Bungle.
Sit in the dumpster and listen to Mr. Bungle.
What's the skippability, Dan? How many songs are you skipping on this? I can already know. I know what your answer is.
0.
Yeah. Yeah. Your mine's a big fat 0, but it's in the other opposite end of the spectrum, as in I would listen to 0 of them.
Philistine.
Satanist. I like my music clean like Jesus.
Dirty commie. So what would you rate this out of 10 cats meows?
Oh, honestly, dude, I give it something for production. Let's give it 2 meows out of 10. I get the idea, but I don't rate it as an album. I think it's an art piece and experimental progressive rock and nothing more than that. I think it's an interesting release that should, that it finds its crowd like yourself, but it's not an album that I would have made high-speed dubs of to give to my friends back in the day.
Yeah. It's not a mainstream thing, but if you're a music snob.
Yeah, but you see, I consider myself a music snob, and this doesn't pick my nose, if you know what I mean.
Mr. The Shins.
Mr. The Shins.
I'm going to have to give this 10 cats meows and a purr. Just a perfect score. This little cat. God. This little cat has been sitting outside in the sun under a tree watching the birds all day, and he's come in and had a lovely dinner. Now he's sitting by the fire, he's stretched out, and he's getting a little bum rub. It's just a happy little cat. Just a happy little cat.
That cat's getting fingered by you and your love for this album.
What do you have to bring things down to some kind of sexual abuse?
Because that's who I am. That's how this album made me feel. It raped 45 minutes of my life and never gave them back to me threefold over.
It's only 44 minutes long, and so you're
But
exaggerating.
I do it out of friendship. Because you
44
asked me
minutes,
to.
10 songs, all perfect. Mr. Bungle, California. Be adventurous, be brave, rage against the dying of the light. It's a brilliant album. It's not for everyone.
Put your finger in a cat's bumhole. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Pointless and Confused. We believe there's a little thing where you can send a tip if you want. We have no idea how it works.
We need cash.
Yeah. For whores.
And Vegemite.
Yeah. And what
Good day.
No. You gotta tell them the other thing.
Oh, what was the other thing?
Subscription.
Look, you could subscribe if you want to hear the sound of our sweet, sweet voices in your ear. Whenever a new episode drops, you'll be the first to know.
Yeah, we're not sure how you do that either, but you'll figure it out.
We're new to this. Come on, you guys.